Right now on News 4 at 6, another Buffalo priest officially resigns following allegations of sexual misconduct. Plus, we're hearing from local lawmakers after Bishop Richard Malone says he's here to stay.
And hazy, hot, kind of humid across the area, actually exceptionally humid. We'll be tracking this and our next chance for some showers and storms coming up.
And driver drug testing here, the new state law, making sure your children get to school safely.
Live in high definition, this is Western New York's news leader. Now, News 4 at 6.
Breaking news tonight, Father Robert Yetter, St. Mary's in Swarmsville, has officially resigned. The priest was put on leave earlier this summer after allegations of sex abuse by an adult. And today we learned of a new complaint. It was brought to the diocese by a third party on Friday.
A spokesperson for the diocese says the complaint may involve a child. News 4's Jen Shantz has more. Jen?
Erica, as of today, Father Yetter has officially resigned his duties as pastor of St. Mary's in Swarmville, which means he can no longer lead Mass as other retired priests can do. Immediately following Friday's allegation, a diocesan spokesperson says the church launched an investigation. This all comes after Bishop Malone's statement yesterday that he will not resign, despite calls for him to do so.
The shepherd does not desert the flock.
That was the message Bishop Richard Malone shared Sunday after announcing he would not be stepping down as head of Buffalo's Catholic Church. Several lawmakers, including Erie County legislator Pat Burke, Congressman Brian Higgins, and most recently, Lieutenant Governor Kathy Hochul, have called for him to do so.
It was just very clear from the evidence that was presented that he took people who were known to have predatory behavior towards children and put them back into ministry.
Sunday, Malone announced he's launching a new task force to address allegations of abuse from adults, something he admitted has fallen short in the past.
I hear your concerns. I understand them. I share them.
Friday, the diocese received a new complaint against Father Robert Yetter, a spokesperson confirmed. Yetter was already on administrative leave from St. Mary's in Swarmville following a complaint of sex abuse by an adult. This new complaint, a spokesperson says, may involve a child.
Our pastor being removed from ministry was the biggest crisis in the over 160-year history of our parish.
Paul Snyder III serves as a deacon at St. Mary's in Swarmville. He, too, wants Malone to resign. He feels the diocese was not as transparent as it could have been after Yetter was first placed on leave earlier this summer.
I personally pleaded with representatives directly speaking with the bishop, and I was told repeatedly before I released my letter that he refused to meet or speak with anyone on our parish staff or ourselves or Bishop Malone coming or speaking personally to our parish. I was shocked.
Now we have reached out to Cardinal Timothy Dolan, the Archbishop of New York, to get his response to Bishop Malone's decision to remain at his post. We have yet to hear back. Jen Shantz, News 4.
Thank you, Jen. And we're following other developing stories tonight. First in Niagara Falls, 2 people are fighting for their lives after a double shooting overnight. We're told police found the 2 victims shot inside a car on Niagara Street. Officials believe they were trying to drive to the hospital after being involved in a fight and crashed on the way. Both were rushed into emergency surgery and are being treated at ECMC. The victims' names have not been released. We're also waiting to hear any information about a suspect.
And search crews are still looking for the body of a missing man from Lackawanna tonight. Tonawanda police say he was hit by a boat after being knocked off a jet ski in the Niagara River. It happened near Niawanda Park yesterday. We're told the victim is 51-year-old Ahmed Umar. Officials say Umar was riding the jet ski with his 8-year-old daughter on the back when a swell came up and knocked them both off. Umar was thrown into the path of a passing boat. His daughter was rescued by a worker at the jet ski rental shop. Police tell us the driver of the boat did not see Umar in the water after he was knocked off.
A lot of boats out there, a lot of jet skiers, kayaks. Our park was full.
He was here with his wife and son and 2 of his daughters. And from what we're understanding, he was jet skiing and a boat came and hit him from the side.
Police say the operator of that boat is cooperating with police and is distraught. He is not facing any charges at this time.
Tonight, a local woman who says she saw her Spectrum bill skyrocket is turning to News 4 for help. It turns out she was billed twice for 1 month.
So she called for action, and as News 4's Al Waters reports, there are several customers now saying the exact same thing. Al, what happened to these people?
Well, it seems to be one of those high-tech whodunits. An unauthorized charge shows up in your bank account identical to a bill you just paid. Spectrum's customer service representative saying it was a computer glitch, but the nationwide cable provider seems to want to keep it a secret. Michelle Lavoie told us she paid her monthly Spectrum bill manually. She doesn't subscribe to AutoPay. The $161 debit showed up in her account as paid, but then she found a second debit for $161 pending, which she did not authorize. Michelle contacted her credit union and was told they couldn't do anything about it, the second charge. She would have to contact Spectrum to remove the debit. When Michelle called Spectrum, they seemed to be familiar with the issue, chalking it up to a computer glitch, and had no intention of contacting affected customers.
And they informed me that it was a known issue, that payments that had been made on the 19th and the 20th, there was a computer glitch, and people were being double charged. And I asked, are you planning to tell customers this so that they can make sure that they're not overdrawn or having payments declined? And they said, no, we don't have any plans to notify customers.
Now, Michelle told us about a co-worker whose double bill led to an overdraft charge with her credit union. But a spokesman for Spectrum told us they weren't aware of any computer glitches in their billing network. Fortunately, Michelle's pending debit expired after 6 days and has been removed. Michelle's co-worker convinced her credit union the second debit was bogus, and they removed her overdraft charge. We're also hearing from our sister station in Rochester. They're receiving complaints of Spectrum double billing, too. Al Waters, News 4.
New tonight, school bus drivers in New York State will soon be subject to random drug and alcohol testing at any time. Governor Cuomo signed this bill into law. The law will strengthen the pre-employment and random testing for bus drivers statewide. And along with the testing, drivers would not be allowed to drive within 8 hours after consuming alcohol. The old rule was 6 hours. The new law goes into effect in December. And right now in Buffalo, local leaders are looking for ways to make Main Street a little more busier. The ongoing car sharing project took a step forward today in downtown Buffalo.
And city officials say the goal is to bring more traffic back to the lower end of Main Street. Our Shannon Smith is downtown tonight showing us how the city plans to reach its goal.
Here along Canal Side, you'll notice even more construction. The sidewalk here along Main Street and Scott Street is closed right now, and that's because construction crews just started to break ground here for the $22 million car sharing project here along Main Street. When this is done, you'll be able to drive along Main Street from Exchange to Scott Street. Now, this is the next phase of this car sharing Main Street project. Mayor Byron Brown was joined by Lieutenant Governor Kathy Hochul and Congressman Brian Higgins at the NFTA rail station earlier today to share the details. Now, this is a $22 million project where you'll be able to drive on the lower part of Main Street from Exchange to Scott Street. Mayor Brown says this will be a major boost for Canal Side, the KeyBank Center, the Harbor Center, and even the soon-to-open Explore and More Children's Museum. Brown says the goal is to allow better access to Canal Side and other places along the Inner Harbor here for people not only living here, but also for visitors.
This project is designed to reopen Lower Main Street in a way that provides minimal disruption to all of the businesses that are operating in this part of the city of Buffalo.
Although Mayor Brown says this is not the longest stretch of Main Street, he says it is the most complicated, so it will take a while for construction here to wrap up. And he says the work should be completed within the next year and a half. Shannon Smith, News 4.
Tonight in Buffalo, investigators are trying to figure out what sparked a fire on the city's east side. It happened at a home on Newton Street late last night. We're told that house had 3 separate apartments. Thankfully, no one was hurt. 6 people are being helped by the Red Cross tonight, and damages are estimated at $50,000. Well, today marks a career milestone for a group of Buffalo firefighters. More than a dozen members of the department were promoted today.
And News 4's Kelsey Anderson is here right now to tell us why today's ceremony was extra special. Kelsey?
Don, one firefighter today was promoted to battalion chief, another to deputy fire commissioner, 2 fire crew members were promoted to captain, and 12 others ascended to the rank of lieutenant. Now, among this group was newly appointed Lieutenant Patrick Herbert. He's the son of late Buffalo firefighter Donald Herbert. Donald Herbert went into a 10-year coma after a roof collapsed on him while fighting a fire in 1996. He woke up from that coma for 1 day, making medical headlines, but later passed away. He's been a firefighter just under 10 years, his son, and says his dad has had a huge influence on his life.
Especially when the commissioner mentioned my father, same with the mayor, it's hard not to get emotional. It's been a long road. I went through tremendous stresses throughout my life to get here, and I just use that emotion as a positive energy for where I want to be in my life.
Also of note in this group, a father and son duo promoted on the same day. Ramon Suarez Sr. was promoted to captain today. His son promoted to lieutenant. The two have deep roots in the department. Suarez Sr. has 2 brothers on the Buffalo Fire team as well, and another son who is a firefighter. In the studio, Kelsey Anderson, News 4.
Still ahead at 6, grab your book bag. Yep, it's time to head back to class. And we're taking you to the very first day for the Charter School of Applied Technology right here in Buffalo.
And another restaurant suddenly shuts its doors for good. Hear why management at Zeb's says they're closing their Boulevard location.